Hey everyone, and welcome to another Marks & Crafts figurine review. Today I'm reviewing the last figurine in the set of the Quintessential Quintuplets Kyunties line. Now this line of figures is the sort of dark evening dress. The characters are sort of like going down a red carpet. And it's like a cool little aesthetic choice. Some of the dresses really work better than others, and some of the characters look better than others. But overall, the line has been pretty good, but it is plagued with the general quality control issues that come with prize figures and Banpresto figures in general. Because Banpresto figures have amazing sculpts, but sometimes you might get a dud in terms of paint. And I've gotten a couple ones that are they're not really duds, but they annoy me just enough that I'm not happy with it. But anyway, we're looking at the last figure in the line, which is the younger sister of the quintuplets, Itsuki. Now these figures have been released in chronological order, as is the case with practically every quintuplets figurine. And this one I'm actually doing in order, unlike the Corfu line, which I awkwardly bought out of order. But anyway, we're looking at these in order, and Itsuki is the last of the lot, and in this video we will be looking at all of the figures lined up together, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, enough waffling on. Quickly have a look at the box. There's Itsuki on the front, the image wraps around the edge, there's more shots on the back, and then the general sort of red carpet look that all of these boxes have shared. And let's get right into it. Now, just like her sisters, Itsuki comes in three pieces, which is her lower half, top half, and base. And as is the case with all of these Kyunties so far, the bases are stupidly thick, and they add quite a bit of height and size to the figure, which almost seems like a little bit of a cop-out if you wanted like a large figure and you're thrown off by the size, because they are generally the size of the box, but the base really does add quite a bit of height to it. But yeah. And also just a big black base is not super appealing. It works for some figures, but it does make the whole thing look a little bit cheap. But anyway, we're looking at Itsuki today, and you can see her dress flows rather nicely, and just as is the case with the other sisters, there's some silver accents to break up the black, as well as clear plastic parts that are a little hard to see at first glance, but when we take a closer look it is much easier to tell. But those clear parts are also there to provide a bit more detail and more depth to the dress. Now, some of the poses of these Kyunties so far have been a bit weird. I don't mind Itsuki's pose necessarily, but her face, at least from a distance, she looks almost a bit worried. It's kind of funny. I think it's because her face is lost a little bit, like it's not very well defined. And just gonna take a closer look. Yeah, her expression makes her look a little bit worried, a little bit concerned. It's hard to tell what that slight open mouth expression is. She doesn't seem overly happy. It's a bit like, oh, someone just caught me on camera. Better smile. From that angle it looks much better. But then the pose doesn't work nearly as well. But as is the case with the other Kyunties, eyes are pretty well detailed, the blush is nice, Itsuki's stars have been cleverly replaced as silver stars, in her hair, which is really cool. The hair flows rather nicely, really good detail work there. There's a massive seam line in the hair, that's pretty normal. I can't see any immediate sort of paint issues, and you can just see how the dress flows. There's some nice folds in it. Just wearing some simple black shoes. See how the dress fans out. There's not a lot of detail under the dress, but that's pretty common in prize figures. You can see the clear plastic where her arm is. Looks rather nice there. I do like that it's foggy enough that you can see something under it, which is quite cool. And same thing on the other side. These ruffles in the dress, just a little bit of clear plastic to really bring out the detail. Much like the other quintuplets in this line, I feel like there's just a little bit too much black. Like, it is smartly broken up. This isn't nearly as bad as some of the other ones we've looked at, but it still is lost just a little bit. You need the right lighting, or you need to see it in person to really make out all that detail. It does not come across well on camera in the slightest. But yeah, she looks good overall. Itsuki's not really my favorite quintuplet. She's a sort of a very inoffensive character. Like, she has her character arcs, but she doesn't really like stick with me or anything like that. She is definitely sort of the face of the franchise, if that makes sense. Whenever I think of quintuplets, I think of Itsuki straight away, but I think that that's more to do with common tropes of the harem genre and things like that. But I don't think she herself is that strong of a character, and she's not my favorite. But she is necessary to complete a set. But I don't have any strong feelings to her either way, whereas like Ichika I have issues with, things like that. But yeah, after doing a quick once over on the figure, I don't see any issues with it manufacturing wise, which is great. And the fragile hair and things like that weren't really damaged in any way, so that's great. She's a little bit more of an angle to see if I can get any more detail out of her dress. Dress looks a lot better there. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, pretty inoffensive. Oh, she does have a paint error on her finger. Just there. Oh well. And yeah, I don't know how I did not notice that. This is why it's important to look at your figures from all angles. But yeah, it doesn't bother me too much. I don't know what to say, really. This figure line's been pretty good so far. I'm not sure if I will continue collecting Kyunties figures, just because I feel like Taito's got better quality control overall, and the sculpts and things like that are better overall. But look, they are doing quite a few Kyunties now. Like, there's a lot of Kaguya-sama ones. They're even doing more quintuplets ones after this, in different outfits. We've done Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu and other series like that, and even a couple of Kakus, which is pretty cool. So the line itself is pretty good, but I don't know if I will personally be collecting them, especially since they always come in sets, and that's dangerous for my wallet. So let's do a quick comparison with all the other quintuplets in this line. And you can see when they're all put together, they all do match rather nicely. I've pretty much got them all at their main viewing angle. Let me just rotate Ichika just a little bit. There we go. But yeah, you can see they look rather nice together. Their hair really does pop when they're all together. But especially with my background being just a black chair, it is quite obvious that the dresses don't really blend together that well. It's a nice little piece. Depending on your backdrop, it would probably pop a lot better, but this is what I've got right now. And yeah, you can see that the dresses all kind of just go to be a big black blur. which is a bit of a shame because the Ichika left a really strong early impression in terms of how they broke up the dress with clear parts and silver parts to make it really unique. And Nino was a pretty decent follow-up from that. Miku's looked like she's just wearing black sheets and a little bit of clear on her arm. Yotsuba's gets lost in the ruffles because there's way too many, and Itsuki's is sort of somewhere in between. But it is undeniable that they all look good together. But if I were to choose a set to get, if you were only to get one set of quintuplets figures, I would 100% choose Corful every single day. And now that they're doing the Corful renewal figures, it doesn't really matter which Corful set you do, just any of them. Like, they're all fantastic. They're the similar sculpts, they just tweak them just a little bit. But I would probably prefer the renewals over the original set of those as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it. These do look great together, but I don't know if I recommend them that strongly just because there have been paint errors with them and the like. But they do look good, and if you do have the Corful line, I'm sure that it would make this set pop even more because of the vibrant colours of that one in contrast to the sort of more sedated colours of this. But overall, it is a pretty good set, and all of the sculpt has been fantastic, and it is a good series. You should check it out if you haven't checked it out. And yeah, generally, these are prize figures. You get what you pay for. I'm not really that upset about anything. It's just that if you want to split hairs, I will split hairs. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I'll see you all next time.